An easy way to tell if a crypto is worth your time is to see if it's one that institutions are buying. Now, because most institutions can't buy cryptocurrencies directly, one of the only ways they can get exposure to them is through exchange-traded products like Grayscale's crypto trusts. You've probably heard of Grayscale's Bitcoin and Ethereum trusts before, but these are just 2 of the 13 cryptocurrencies that institutions have been investing in via Grayscale. Another cryptocurrency on this list is Livepeer's LPT token. Even though Grayscale's Livepeer Trust has seen tens of millions of dollars of investment since it launched in March, Livepeer has gone by relatively unnoticed. Now that Binance has listed LPT, I figured I'd take it upon myself to find out what Livepeer is all about and whether the LPT token has any potential. And that's exactly what I'm going to share with you today. Spoiler, this crypto project has serious potential. Before we go on another crypto adventure, there's one important thing I need to mention. I can't give you any financial or investment recommendations. That's because I'm not a financial advisor, and this means everything in this video is just for your education. If you've never seen my face before, my name is Guy and I am a crypto lord. My Coin Bureau kingdom consists of the highest quality crypto content on the tube. Coins, tokens, exchanges, news and reviews. Whether you're an expert or a noob, there's something here for you. If you want to become a citizen of the Coin Bureau, subscribing to the channel and pinging that notification bell is the way to go. I've left timestamps in the video timeline you can use to skip around and optimize your time. If you watch the whole way through, that would be super kind. Now that everything is clear, let's take a closer look at Livepeer. Livepeer was founded in February 2017 by Doug Petkanics and Eric Tang. Both are software engineers and have worked together for almost a decade on multiple startups, one of which they sold to Groupon in 2012. Doug and Eric got into crypto in 2016 because of Ethereum. They were fascinated by the economic incentives you can create using tokens and actually played a critical role in the development of Ethereum's non-fungible token standard used for NFTs today. Doug and Eric realized that Ethereum was missing a decentralized video platform. Now, given their interest in video technologies and their experience in infrastructure engineering, they decided to give it a shot. Since the beginning, Livepeer's mission statement has been to, quote, build the world's open video infrastructure. Now, while this goal is quite broad, it's worth pointing out that Livepeer seems to be geared more towards use cases relevant to startups and journalists rather than the average person. In a recent interview, Doug revealed that the focus on startups comes from the fact that he and Eric have felt the pain of high video streaming costs in their previous ventures. This high cost basically makes it impossible for any startups to compete with existing video giants like YouTube and Twitch, and that's obviously a problem. Doug is also passionate about journalism and hopes that Livepeer will be used to create uncensorable live streams of what's really going on during times of crisis around the world. To enable these use cases and others, Livepeer is designed to tackle the costliest step of the video streaming process. This step is called transcoding, and it involves formatting video content so that it can be streamed on multiple different devices across multiple different networks. What this means is that Livepeer is not an application. It's a protocol on Ethereum that is meant to serve as the backend to any applications looking to leverage Livepeer's technology as their backend. It is important to note that Livepeer is also not a content distribution network. In other words, it does not actually broadcast video streams to viewers, it just does the heavy lifting of transcoding incoming video streams. The Livepeer protocol is fully open source and it was developed by Livepeer Inc., a for-profit software company based in New York that was founded by Doug and Eric. Livepeer Inc. also has its own paid platform which leverages the Livepeer protocol and provides video content distribution and video storage services. This is Livepeer Inc.'s profit model, and it's in stark contrast to most cryptocurrency projects which rely on enormous amounts of VC funding and slowly sell their large token allocations to fund their operations. Although Livepeer has received around $11 million from a handful of private backers since its launch in 2017, almost all of LPT's supply is held by retail investors, even though there was no ICO. More on that later. The Livepeer mainnet launched in April 2018, and the project has since partnered with some prestigious crypto projects, including Filecoin, which can be used to store Livepeer-generated video content. So, how exactly does Livepeer work? There are two key players in the Livepeer protocol: orchestrators and delegators. Orchestrators contribute their computing power to the protocol to provide transcoding services for incoming video streams. What's interesting is that the people who push their streams to orchestrators pay for their transcoding services in ETH and stablecoins like DAI rather than the LPT token. To make sure the people paying for transcoding services aren't drowning in gas fees on Ethereum, Livepeer uses probabilistic micropayments, which were co-founded by Algorand founder Silvio Micali. Without getting too technical, probabilistic micropayments are kind of like a combination of a payment channel and zero-knowledge proofs that make it possible to send batched transactions between parties. Now, while anyone can participate on Livepeer as an orchestrator, the Livepeer team has been adamant about getting proof-of-work cryptocurrency miners on board. This is because a lot of proof-of-work crypto mining is done using powerful GPU cards to solve the complex equations required to process transactions and earn cryptocurrencies like BTC and ETH. The actual video part of those GPUs never gets used in proof-of-work mining, and this means that anyone mining cryptocurrency with a GPU can increase their profits by providing transcoding services while mining crypto. This is called dual mining because orchestrators earn LPT tokens from inflation in addition to the ETH and stablecoins they get from people paying for their transcoding services. To ensure orchestrators do their jobs correctly, they must stake LPT tokens to provide transcoding services. If they fail to properly transcode a video stream or they act maliciously, part of their stake is slashed. If you're wondering how the Livepeer protocol can know what orchestrators are doing off-chain, the answer is a specialized crypto technology called TrueBit, which is way outside the scope of this video. Delegators provide an additional layer of security to the Livepeer protocol by staking LPT on orchestrators with a good track record. What's cool is that the track record of orchestrators can be easily verified using the Livepeer Explorer. The Livepeer Explorer is also where you delegate LPT, and this requires a Web3 wallet like MetaMask. If you plan on delegating LPT, just note that there is a 7-day lockup period for those tokens. On the bright side, there is no minimum stake. Now, in exchange for delegating their LPT to orchestrators, delegators earn a cut of their inflationary rewards and transcoding fees. Note that each orchestrator sets its own delegation commissions. There are currently 100 orchestrators and nearly 2,700 delegators, collectively staking over 53% of all the LPT in circulation. More importantly, my calculations suggest that transcoding video using Livepeer orchestrators can cost up to 10 times less than centralized video transcoding services. Now, I'm sure you're all dying to hear what I have to say about the tokenomics of LPT. LPT is an ERC20 token that's used for staking by orchestrators and delegators on Livepeer. It's also used for governance of the Livepeer protocol, and LPT voting is done through the Livepeer Explorer. Fun fact, one of the orchestrator nodes belongs to the Livepeer community, and the rewards it generates are used to fund whatever projects the Livepeer community votes on. LPT had an initial supply of 10 million. Of this initial supply, just over 12% went to the Livepeer team and its founders, and only 5% was kept as a financial reserve for the project. 19% was sold to private investors across 2 token sales in 2017, which collectively raised just under $4 million. The LPT sold during these sales was priced at 94 cents for the first sale and a whopping $3 for the second. The LPT tokens allocated to the team, founders, and private sale participants all came with lengthy vesting schedules, the longest of which seems to have ended last month. Now, in lieu of an ICO, Livepeer airdropped 63% of LPT's initial supply to all Ethereum wallets holding at least 0.1 ETH shortly before the mainnet launch. Roughly 2.4 LPT was airdropped to over 2.6 million wallets as a result. The process of claiming these LPT tokens was quite elaborate. For the first 3 months after the Livepeer mainnet launch, you were only able to claim the LPT airdropped to you. However, after that 3-month window, it became possible to gradually drain the LPT from any other Ethereum wallets that had not yet claimed their LPT. This stopped in October 2018. This rather bizarre process was set up for 2 reasons. First, Livepeer wanted to make sure most LPT tokens ended up in the hands of active Ethereum users. Second, LPT's annual inflation depends on how much of LPT's total supply is being staked, and if a substantial amount of LPT is sitting unclaimed in wallets, this could lead to high inflation. If I'm not mistaken, this high inflation scenario seems to have happened given that LPT's total supply is currently 23.7 million, which is almost 2.5 times more than its initial supply. Thankfully, LPT's annual inflation rate is currently just 7.3% and will likely drop to 0 in the coming weeks. This is because LPT's inflation increases or decreases by a fraction of a percentage per day, depending on how much of LPT's total supply is being staked. If it's more than 50%, inflation drops. If it's less, it increases. 100% of LPT's supply is in circulation, and this supply seems to have had an insanely equitable distribution. That huge wallet you see on Etherscan is actually the staking smart contract. Despite LPT's terrific tokenomics, its price performance has been pretty lackluster. LPT has only gone up by about 5x since the start of the year, which is significantly less than most other cryptocurrencies. This is for a few reasons. First, because LPT was airdropped to millions of Ethereum holders, anyone who claimed that LPT and never bothered to sell it on an exchange is probably doing so now that crypto is back in the news. My evidence for this is the gradual decline of LPT holders noted on Etherscan, though I will admit this indicator only tracks the last 2 weeks of wallet activity. The second reason why LPT might be performing so poorly relates to the first, and that's a lack of exchange support. Until recently, Gemini and Bithumb were the only reputable exchanges where you could find LPT, and its trading volume on those exchanges was and continues to be quite limited. OKX listed LPT in April this year, and it wasn't until May that Binance listed the LPT token. This, of course, means the LPT token came within reach of most regular cryptocurrency investors. Unfortunately, LPT's Binance listing has had little to no effect on its price, but that was expected given that the crypto market was crashing at the time. The launch of Grayscale's Livepeer Trust in March definitely gave it a boost, and it's possible that continued investment through that trust is a big part of why it has sustained its current price. Now, the third and most apparent reason why LPT's price has been lagging is a lack of use cases for the LPT token. As I mentioned earlier, LPT isn't used to pay for transcoding services on the Livepeer protocol. Its only demand driver comes from orchestrators and delegators who need or want to stake LPT. This is in contrast to most cryptocurrency projects which require you to pay for fees using their native coin or token. This kind of user demand is why ETH has so much value. It's used for gas on Ethereum. In theory, demand for the Livepeer protocol should incentivize more orchestrators and delegators to join the network to earn transcoding fees. As much as Livepeer has tried to beef up its usage statistics on the Livepeer Explorer, it's clear that this demand seems to be lacking. However, you can clearly see that the general trend for these metrics is certainly moving in the right direction. If this continues, I could see LPT pulling a 10x from its current price, and that's because it has such a small market cap and no whales waiting to dump their LPT. As to what comes next for Livepeer, co-founder Doug Petkanics detailed a roadmap for 2021 and beyond in a recent blog post. Naturally, the primary thing Livepeer Inc. will be doing is driving demand for the Livepeer protocol via their paid platform services. In terms of technology, Livepeer Inc. wants to introduce stream content recognition software for orchestrator nodes. Specifically, it wants to develop an AI program that will automatically detect certain types of content, such as adult content and copyrighted content, in streams being transcoded by the Livepeer protocol. Now, this is a bit concerning, as this sort of technology could potentially be used to censor unwanted video streams if it falls into the wrong hands. Luckily, it seems that orchestrator nodes will not be obligated to run this type of software, and Doug has noted on multiple occasions that nothing can be censored at the protocol level. It would be up to the applications which distribute those transcoded streams as to whether they should be censored based on the type of content the orchestrator nodes classify them as being. Another tech milestone on Livepeer's timeline is the addition of a peer-to-peer content delivery network for its protocol, which would make Livepeer's video streams fully decentralized. Livepeer is also looking into migrating to a Layer 2 blockchain built on Ethereum, because of Ethereum's insanely high gas fees, and plans to begin launching its protocol on other smart contract blockchains. Finally, Livepeer wants to become completely decentralized, and it is on the cusp of achieving that goal. Now, the problem here is that Livepeer's governance process is currently a bit shoddy, to put it mildly. For starters, you need to put down 100 LPT just to table a Livepeer improvement proposal, or LIP, and all that LPT gets burned. That's almost $2,500 at today's discounted prices. For an LIP proposal to pass, more than 33% of all LPT in circulation needs to be staked for or against the proposal, with at least 50% of that LPT voting in favour. That's an extremely high voting threshold given the size of the project. It also doesn't help that most of the LPT in circulation still seems to be sitting unclaimed in hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of wallets. While it's nice to see that the Livepeer team is looking to fix these issues, it's possible that Livepeer could succumb to its competition before it completes all of these upgrades. As some of you will know, Livepeer isn't the only decentralized video streaming cryptocurrency project on the market. The current leader in this niche is Theta, which was actually one of my top crypto picks for 2021. Now, if I was to compare both projects using a single sentence, Theta is basically everything that Livepeer is working to become. Whereas Livepeer is only just starting to begin development on its peer-to-peer content delivery network, Theta has already rolled out its own peer-to-peer content delivery network called the Theta Edgecast. Not only that, but Theta even recently introduced video transcoding to the Theta Edgecast, which puts it in direct competition with Livepeer's core value proposition. Theta has also been cozying up to tech giants like Google and Samsung, whereas Livepeer has stayed true to its roots in the cryptocurrency community. As a consequence, Theta's native blockchain is quite centralized, and most of its 15 validator nodes are run by the tech giants it has partnered with. By contrast, Livepeer's large collection of orchestrators is connected to an even more decentralized Ethereum blockchain. When it comes to tokenomics, Theta and Livepeer are similar in that both of their token supplies are in circulation, and most of those tokens are in the hands of their communities. Theta differs in the fact that it has a second token called T-Fuel, which is used to pay for all transactions on the Theta network. Theta's relentless growth has landed both of its tokens in the top 100, but as I've mentioned many times before, I think both Theta and T-Fuel have seen most of their growth during this bull market. Even though Livepeer is significantly smaller than Theta, this also means that it has much more room to grow as a project and as a cryptocurrency. There are almost half a dozen reputable exchanges that have yet to list LPT, and I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot more listing announcements in the coming weeks. With some luck, Livepeer might just get the momentum it needs to become a contender for the crown of decentralized video cryptocurrencies. Oh, and if you want to learn more about Theta, you can watch my video about it using that link up there in the top right. From where I'm standing, Livepeer is pretty legit. Both of its founders seem to be passionate about the values of cryptocurrency, and they've worked tirelessly to make their vision of a decentralized video streaming infrastructure come true. I find it seriously impressive that Livepeer has gotten as far as it has with such a small amount of funding. It has a functioning product with a decent amount of participation and clout in the crypto space, and the project is really just getting started. When going through Livepeer's previous milestones and roadmaps, I couldn't help but notice that they've stuck to the plan since the project began back in 2017. This makes Livepeer's future promises that much more credible, and it's clear that big players are starting to see the potential of this protocol. As questionable as LPT's price action has been, the upside potential is self-evident. If you were to ask me if Livepeer will survive the next bear market, however, that's far from being set in stone. Livepeer is up against some serious competition, and even though it's managed to survive by staying close to the Ethereum community, it hasn't thrived nearly as much as its competitors. Having tested Theta's products before, I can tell you that there are few projects that come close to that level of completion, even in other genres of cryptocurrencies. It's quite possible that Theta is being used by the tech giants it has partnered with to provide more efficient video content transcoding and distribution, but that's a topic for another time. It also doesn't change the fact that Livepeer really needs to step up its game if it wants to catch up to Theta. Well folks, if you enjoyed today's video, I would love it if you lobbed me a like. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ping that notification bell to make sure you don't miss the next video when it's ready. If you wanted to pick up some Livepeer tokens, you can do that on Binance, and I have an exclusive 20% trading fee discount for you. That's waiting at the top of the video description. Now, YouTube isn't the only place you can find me either. I'm active on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Telegram, where I share daily updates about the crypto market. If you want to know what goes on in my personal cryptocurrency portfolio, subscribe to my weekly newsletter using the link down below. The video description is also how you'll find your way to the Coin Bureau merch store that's packed with crypto merch so cool that even the no-coiners want more. Well, that's all I've got to say for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Hooray!